I'd say those were pretty much some of the darkest times, was just working a cashier job that I felt like I was so far away from where I wanted to be. I wanted to run my own life, work my own hours. I don't want to work for somebody else's dream, start punching in numbers for someone else's check. I find this other property and I contact them, and I even told you this. I was like, there's no way we get this one. Like, it's a 4-bedroom, but it's super large. It comes with a hot tub. There's campfires and playgrounds in
Huge
the backyard.
Yeah.
It's so private, has like 12-foot fences, and we're like, there's no way they accept this deal. So I contact them, and I didn't think much of it. I was just gonna contact other ones. But they contact me back and they say like, I gave my pitch and you guys taught me how to make a pitch and properly do it. And I ended up securing it, and they said like, yeah, we wanna do that. And I was like, I hung up the phone. I said, yo, Dad, yo, you're not gonna believe this, man. Like,
can you guys confirm, have you replaced your incomes with this one property? Both of you guys?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I was about to go to bed. It was like at midnight. I was like just gonna go to sleep, call it a night. And we managed to get a booking for $667 a night for 3 nights. In total, they paid $2,533 for 3 nights.
Welcome back, guys, to another YouTube video. Today we are here with 2 brothers from the USA, America. They both joined our program last summer after hitting rock bottom, trying to find the right business for themselves, and after losing 6 figures in crypto. They joined our program, they secured their first Airbnb, and they're now making an average of $10,000 per month from their Airbnb business. And we're going to walk you through exactly how they did it, the struggles, and how they overcame it. I'm so ecstatic to have you both here on our YouTube channel of Educate Property. Can you both first start off and introduce yourselves? Who are you both? Can you introduce yourself a little bit for the viewers that are watching this video right now?
Hey guys, my name is Spencer Stanford. I'm 22 years old.
And I'm Dan Antonio. I'm 27 years old.
And we're based in Georgia, USA.
Thank you guys for the intro. Can I ask you both, what were you doing before you joined the program?
So I was an immigrant. I'm from the Philippines. I got here 4 years ago, and my first job was a front desk at a hotel. I want to learn how to speak in English, like improperly speak in English. So I kind of tried that job at the front desk at the hotel.
I was actually born in Japan, and I lived in the Philippines from like age 10 to 15, and then I moved here in the US. So it was still a culture shock for me coming over here and getting used to it, but not as much as him. Like, he had to actually like learn English. Before I joined the program, I was originally supposed to just be like everybody else, go to college, get that degree, but something was just telling me like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't see myself going through that and working the 9 to 5 and wasting my life away in an office box. And so I turned away from it. And so from there, I have just been struggling to figure out like, what is it that I'm gonna do? What is it that's gonna make me live the life that I've been envisioning for a while. I've tried so many business models. I've tried drop shipping, I've tried crypto, I've tried clothing brands, I've tried just countless models that weren't working, or if I had a little bit of success, I would lose all the money after. Like, it was just a struggle for the past 4 years. I lost the money that could have changed my family's lives. That was the most heartbreaking thing.
But it's not that, it's a loss.
It's a loss. Like, we were in debt, 6 figures, we just lost because we made all of it. And we were on top of the world, and then we went back to zero. And to be at zero and think that, wow, that money could have changed my family's lives forever, was definitely very much an internal struggle, because I can envision what I want, where I want to be, but I just have no idea how to get there. And, it sucks, like, failing all the time, nothing's working. My parents are telling me just go back to college. It was hard trying to figure it out because you're lost and you don't know what to do at that point. I'd say those were pretty much some of the darkest times, was just working a cashier job that I felt like I was so far away from where I wanted to be. But I never gave up, and I knew that I wanted to get there, and I was just like, I put my faith in God and just said, okay, He has a plan for me, I'm going to keep going. No matter how much I struggle, I'm just going to keep going. I wanted to run my own life, work my own hours, just live my life. I don't want to work for somebody else's dream. I want to build my own dream, build my own empire with my brother. And I wasn't going to do that in college. Now, what I'm going to do in college is get a degree and, start punching in numbers for someone else's check. I don't want the check. I don't want to be getting the check to them.
What made you, after past 4 years, doing multiple different businesses, after hitting rock bottom and losing 6 figures in crypto, which is a insane amount of money, you lost that in crypto like that. What were you guys thinking at that moment where you lost all that income?
So from going literally from the top in a span of few days to rock bottom the next few days, you can imagine how somebody would take that. You could probably be like, oh, like, I'm gonna give up, like, I'm done, like, I'm done, this isn't for me. But we're very resilient, I'd say. And even though we suffered that major loss, we knew that we could come back from it. And there was something that we can do, and we're gonna figure it out.
After losing that amount of money, why did you guys turn to Airbnb?
After losing all that money, we settled down and we went through the business models and we just tried to look for the one that made the best sense for us. I'm the one that stumbled upon you guys and saw you guys on Instagram doing this Airbnb arbitrage. It looked very attractive. He was good at designing. I have the back end, and I was like, this makes a lot of sense. So we went to the whiteboard, and I don't know if you actually saw it, but I sent it to you on messages saying, like, we've looked at the numbers, like everything, and this is the one we want to do. Like, this is the model we want to try. We were looking at different mentors on Instagram, and we liked the value that you guys had in your program. So it came with like all the modules and the support system, and it just had a lot more than a lot of the programs. I've been following you guys for a minute, and I just said, hey, like, we're just gonna go with this one.
Coming inside the program and actually joining and being a student that goes through the entire journey within the program itself, what did you both find the most beneficial to yourselves?
So when we first joined the program, our coaches helped us find the proper markets. But even if you find the proper markets, you gotta look at the specific properties, where they're at and what they provide, and see if they're gonna be a good match and be profitable. And so there were a lot of deals that didn't end up as good as the ones we have now, and we're kind of glad that it didn't work out. So there's just different aspects that you gotta look at every single part. And I learned it on the way because of you guys. Because maybe sometimes I'd only look at one part, but I forget this part. And that's why sometimes the deals didn't stack up. But you guys were always there to assist me and make sure that I'm looking at every single part of this deal to ensure nothing falls out. I was doing the market research wrong. The coaches caught it, and they saved me. Because if not, I would have been losing a lot of money. We learned from that bad deal. The coaches helped us, and now we got set up with the deal that we have now. Without you guys, we would have slipped up many times. Because there's so many little things that you have to learn about this model, and you guys were there every step of the way, and you guys helped us through every deal that didn't go through, or market research, and everything that's included. You guys were there for that.
For me, it's the system that you guys created, like the templates and everything. Like, we just put our data over there, and then it just pop up and populate. Yeah, it's the analysis tools, like how to research a good deal.
One thing that stuck out to me about everything was your patience. I felt like I had to go back and just ask a lot of questions, even though you guys really liked us asking questions. I just feel like you had a lot of patience with us when it came to going back and reviewing everything, making sure that we got it. I found the calls very informative and just very, very helpful, because when I'm out there researching markets or outreaching to landlords, the answer was always there, and you guys were always there to help me. I can give you an example. There were times where I kept going back and forth because I felt like I wasn't doing the deal analysis right. So one of the coaches stood by my side, multiple coaches stood by my side and helped me work through it to ensure that if I get into this, I'm not gonna end up in a bad situation. So that's what they did. They stood there with me and they made sure that this was good or bad. And eventually, it was a bad deal. So they got me out of it and prevented a bad situation. So that's why we're in a good situation now, you know?
Yeah, just to make the viewers aware that, you know, for the ones that are not aware about this, Spencer, you had the first deal that you were going to take on. It was going to be a bad deal if you got into it. Is that right?
Yes.
How much money was it going to be losing you every month if you took that deal on?
I think the best we could do in that deal was break even. I don't even think we would have been making money. I think we would have lost. We would have been in the red multiple months, losing hundreds, if not close to $1,000 every month, you know, with that deal. Like, even if we tried our best to make it look good, it's just where the property is located, the number of bedrooms that were there. It wasn't going to make high nightly rates at all. Like, it was just going to be very mediocre or just lose a bunch of money every month.
The second deal that you presented to us, which was like a very small apartment, ground floor, can you elaborate a little bit more about that deal and how we pulled you out of that one as well?
It was actually on the second floor and there was no elevator, it was just stairs. And you guys were like, that's a bad idea because people don't want to carry their luggage all the way up there. And yeah, you know, almost got that one, but we got out of that.
If you did this with just YouTube or like ChatGPT or like just the internet, like you probably would have taken on those deals, right?
You know what's scary is that that's originally what I was gonna do. Like originally I was gonna be like, you know, I see a lot of info on here, like, yo, let's just wing it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go. But after going through the mentorship and realizing how much goes into it, it would have just been another failed business model, just like all the other ones.
It's going to be a disaster.
It probably would have been way worse because we would have bought so much furniture. And also, not to mention, we probably wouldn't have even been looking in the right places because you guys pointed it towards us like, avoid this place, go here, you know, stay away from there. They have bad regulations or their nightly rates aren't high enough and you're going to lose money. That was very, very crucial to us because we eventually found the gold mine.
Can you guys walk us through how you got your first Airbnb?
Yeah, so like a week after, I find this other property and I contact them. And I even told you this. I was like, there's no way we get this one. Like, it's a 4-bedroom, but it's super large. It comes with a hot tub. There's campfires and playgrounds in
Huge
the backyard.
Yeah.
It's so private, has like 12-foot fences. And we're like, there's no way they accept this deal. So I contact them and I didn't think much of it. I was just going to contact other ones. But they contact me back and they say like, you know, I gave my pitch and you guys taught me how to make a pitch and properly do it. And I ended up securing it and they said like, yeah, we want to do that. And I was like, I hung up the phone. I said, yo, Dad. Yo, you're not gonna believe this, man. Like, so, I mean, we were hyped and we were like, oh, okay, we gotta drive there like as soon as possible. Like, we gotta secure this.
Meet the landlord.
Meet the landlord in person, put a face to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, after that, we got to the property, we walked it, and it just looked really good. Of course, there were some issues that, you know, we had to resolve, but that's just part of the business model. But overall, I mean, it was the best unit that we ever came across. And now the money is flowing.
Love the detail there. Going back to the pitch, you mentioned that we helped you with the pitch. What specifically do you feel like you were able to gain more confidence on and more clarity on versus just like doing it yourself?
Yeah, you guys helped tremendously when it came to giving the pitch, how to properly do it, because I took a video of my first one and it was just trash. Like, it was just so bad. I was stuttering so much. I wasn't positioning myself correctly. I was just doing everything the wrong way. And then going back to when we secured this deal, that phone call, I was able to build a connection, properly, you know, give confidence that we're legit and we know what we're doing, positioning myself as the better option, and that's how we secured the deal. If I would have made the call how I did the first one to this one, I don't think we would have secured it. I would have fumbled the ball.
Now, where your property is now earning you 10K in revenue per month, right? That would have been the difference. If you had not joined the program, you had not learned everything, how to do it the right way.
The person that joined the mentorship to now is a completely different person. And the mentorship shifted that for me, that mindset change, being urgent, having resilience, having a very high stress tolerance, you know, It built all of that for me.
Can you guys break down the numbers of the deal that you guys have secured? Your first Airbnb, what is the rent you are paying per month? How much are you charging per night? And what exactly are you, getting in returns per month, revenue and profit?
Originally doing the market research, the ADR was supposed to be low 300s, but the ADR is looking more like 400 ADR.
Mhm.
Our highest nightly rate was what, in the 600s?
600.
Yeah, like in the 600s. That's in the peak seasons. We actually have many very large bookings. I was about to go to bed. It was like at midnight. I was like just gonna go to sleep, call it a night. And we managed to get a booking for $667 a night for 3 nights. In total, they paid $2,533 for 3 nights.
Insane numbers. That's insane. I
Yes.
guess
Like,
what was the feelings, emotions running through when you guys got that booking?
man,
Mind blown.
I just like, what the heck is going on? Like, how are we generating that much?
Yeah.
And honestly, if we can talk about the one that really caught us off guard, this was a 6 night booking, and they paid almost $4,000 for 6 nights.
And how much is your rent?
2,610.
And in just 6 nights,
And that's just one booking.
in just one booking,
Just one
in
booking.
just 6 nights, you cover your rent, you cover your bills, and you're already in profit.
Yes.
Yep.
So 6 nights, you cover anything, like everything major. You have like how many nights remaining? Like 24 nights. And you're on average like putting your property on for like $500.
That's not peak season, by the way. Peak season's in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a higher nightly rate in November, like $1,000 a night.
Yeah,
But I don't want to talk about it.
Can you guys confirm? Have you replaced your incomes with this one property? Both of you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
How does it
Yep.
feel knowing that if you do lose your job, if you get made redundant, if they fire you, that you don't need this job?
As somebody that has been like struggling, like with all these part-time jobs and stuff, and not having like a safety net like that, it feels very good to have that. We're probably in the top, being conservative, 5% of listings right now, and that's because of what you guys taught us, how to optimize the listing, how to like get to that top, because it doesn't just happen by accident. You can't just put an Airbnb on there and just become top 10%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like listings out there that just don't perform. Even if you have our property, like if you don't do it the right way, the way you guys taught us, it's not going to perform like we are. But that's good for us.
How has this affected your personal lives? To be shared with your family, etc.
Yes, we have shared with our family. They tell us they're proud of us. I think that's more rewarding than the money, is just hearing my mom and dad say like, we're proud of you, son.
Yeah.
You guys are going to do some amazing things. Meanwhile, sorry, but years ago, I was not in that position. I was like they love me, I'm their son, but like, what am I doing with my life, But now that I'm in this position that they're telling me like, oh, we're so proud of you, you're doing amazing, like keep it going, it's more rewarding than the money in my end.
Wait, what about yourself, Denma? What do your parents think of this? Like your mom, how does she feel about the fact that she raised you in the Philippines and you grew up with your grandparents, you've come here and you're doing this with your brother? Like how does she feel about that, knowing that the kind of success you've created for yourself so far in just early stages?
It's just we took a risk, and we always told each other like fortunes favor the bold. So they told us that we are pretty bold
Yeah.
and risk taker. So they said that I think that's our good attribute, and they definitely value us.
A lot of people watching this might be like, oh, well, they just got lucky. What would you guys say to that?
It's not luck. We
It's all hard
actually,
work.
yeah, I mean, we're not talk, like we actually take action on what we say we're going to do. I mean, when we say we're going to join a program, we join a program. When we say we're going to get a property, we're going to get a property. Like we stick to our word, because I think that's a very important thing about
Yeah.
us, is that when we say something, we're going to do it. We have major accountability, major resilience, and that just built up over the years and during the program as well.
Yes, and I told Spencer, there's no plan B. We're gonna work this out.
Yeah.
We're gonna work this out.
Literally told
No
me,
plan B.
No plan B. Like, we're gonna stick to it. Whatever happens, we don't quit.
Yep. will make it through.
Of course, like all parents want the best for their children, right? But I guess, were they like scared for you guys? Do you feel like you guys had to persevere through the doubts or the noise, or because of course now they see the results, they'll believe in it more, but was it always like that?
No, on my end, no, it was not. That's that internal struggle that people, talk about. It's that even when all the noise is coming towards you and people are doubting you and saying like, just do what everyone else is doing, sticking with your decision even through that it's a lot harder than people think, like because of all the noise that's happening. But I always stuck with my gut. Like I always said, like, this is what I want to do. Like no one's gonna tell me, even my parents, that I'm not gonna do this or I'm just gonna be a normal college student. Like that's not who I want to be. I've known that for a long time and I'm just acting upon it now. In order to be different, you got to do things differently. If you don't want to live the average life, the 9 to 5, like everyone else is going to do, then you got to do something different, and you got to figure that out. It's not straightforward, but like I said, like I knew it wasn't for me. And so all that noise was just, it never got here in my heart or my mind. I just persevered every single time. Anytime it's like I had people at my school, like when I used to post about like my new business model or like any other venture I did, they were talking bad about me the whole time, for sure. They were talking trash, saying like, oh, he's cringe, or like, oh, what is he doing? Like, why can't he be like everybody else? But I never let it get to my heart or my mind, because when I eventually make it like we are now, like it doesn't matter, does it?
With this Airbnb business, is your goals to impact like your family's lives as well, give back to them? If so, how would you like to do that?
So family is one of the biggest whys for us. God first, and then family, and then ourselves. Family, we just want to make sure they don't struggle anymore. They don't think about like, can we make these payments, or can we have, or in the Philippines, do they have food on the table? We want to be the ones that save them and provide for them and make sure that our own family, our own blood is not struggling anymore. And we're going to do it 100%. They're my biggest why. Like they look up to me and, they want to be successful. And even my little sister was like, oh, like, can I do Airbnb, when I get older and stuff? I was like, yeah, of course, like we're going to help you. We're your big bros. Like we got you. And they're my biggest why, And my mom and dad, of course, they did so much for me, even though we clashed heads in the beginning trying to get to this dream. In the end of the day, it was out of love, and they just want the best for me. And so I want to provide for them and give back, because they always made sure I was okay. And I just want to give back to them. Don't let them struggle anymore about bills. Bills was a big thing for sure. Like we weren't poor, but it's in that gap where there's not a lot left in the end of the month. So, I want to show them a version of life that they probably have never seen, where there's just excess, and we can give that to them. It's no secret that as you get older, that time will come, and I want to be successful by the time that happens, and show him that his son didn't give up and was somebody great.
What would you say to someone who's currently on the fence about joining the program? What would your advice be to them?
So I think this is an amazing business model. I think it offers so much location freedom and just financial freedom in every aspect. I think it's time to take the leap. I think you need the mentor for sure. I wouldn't suggest doing this by yourself.
Yeah.
I'd say find that mentor like Uzma and Lena. Let them coach you and let them help you secure your first property like they did for us. And to just take action, because we were just thinking, drawing it on a whiteboard is different from actually joining the mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
So take the action, stop watching the YouTube videos, just take a risk for once.
You can't do anything alone. You need a mentor. You need a coach. So that's the reason why we go to class. There's a teacher in front of us. You need to educate yourself. And this program is the best thing or the best decision that you have made.
Thank you, guys. That is literally the wrap of today's interview. I'm so happy that you both were able to join. And I just know that a lot of the viewers are going to get a lot of insight into the entire process, how they could also do the same thing, the kind of results that they could achieve, and also the support that comes along with that. So thank you guys for joining with me. And for the viewers, I'll see you guys in the next one.